What's going on, guys? We're here live in FreedomRPG checking out this World Spine campaign. It's my latest campaign in the shared worlds on the FreedomRPG Discord. Been making some great strides with world development here, embedding this entire map into the latest campaign. If you haven't registered yet for FreedomRPG, check out the pinned comment for a link. You can register there and get bonus credits. You can try out this campaign in the World Share channel of Discord. Get there through the game itself. Sorry about that. Okay, so anyway, you can go play this world. There's 4 characters that I have in there right now that you can pick from. Just grab the PDF and you can either upload that PDF or just copy and paste the letters in it to upload the character sheet. But if you don't like any of those 4 characters, it's an awesome campaign world, so just tell me what kind of character you make and I'll make you a prompt for it. But anyway, what I always do is when I get one of these campaigns ready to play, when I think it's finally ready, I make a really overpowered character for it as a tester, and I go in and kind of have fun with it and do whatever I feel like doing and see if I can break it. And it's going to be kind of fun doing this because there's some hidden mechanics that maybe we won't see. It's kind of on a long timer, but we'll see some of it, and you'll see what I mean here in a minute, because I'm playing Artemis Ravencraft here, kind of like a long time character that I've played in D&D for a long time, but just kind of recreated here. He's sorcerer, rogue, assassin, and he's really highly overpowered. His stats here, like his ability stats, are pretty high. And he's got just really overpowered gear and skills. And I mean, the skills is just normal for his build, but of course they're affected by his ability stats. And he's level 13 total ECL. I'm talking about just an absolute beast. And the plan here is, instead of, I'm just going to completely ignore the kind of campaign that I made here. We're starting here in 9 cells. 9 cells is the little human fishing community over here, and they sell fish in large supply over here to the dwarves, who have such a large little community. They even have like a human district outside of their main gate here that's technically politically part of their citadel. But anyway, Artemis here is over here in 9 cells. He just came in off the boat a couple of days ago. All I've done here is I bought a little dilapidated warehouse that I can use as a front, a little business, a deep salt curing, like fish curing place. It's gonna be full of fish being salted in barrels. Good solid business cover for the Thieves Guild that Artemis is going to be starting here on the World Spine, where he intends to squeeze every bit of extra coin from the bustling area. There's a little bit of a problem going on here, though, that the goblins are being pushed south for an unknown reason into this Wild Elven Forest full of wild elf barbarian tribes. It's causing a lot of kind of a war between these native peoples in the area, and causing them to spill out southward into the civilized areas. And so tonight, actually, this character is heading off on his own to go take care of this problem, because he's got carpenters who he has told that he'll clear out their side of the forest if they will fix his warehouse and upgrade it. So that's where we're at right now. We're going into the forest to absolutely just make the forest our goblin killing field. And oh, one more thing that happened. I found this little group of dock thugs called the Tide Knives, and I ended up doing one of my assassin death shots on their leader, and he just happened to save versus death, but he came really close, and so I gave him a healing potion, and now he's my lieutenant. And we're going to start with what I'm leaving him with here as I'm going off back to the forest. Pay your men, Lieutenant. And I handed him a bag of gold. I need everyone focused on cleaning up this place and preparing for the carpenters. I have a foreman coming in a few days. He doesn't know you're the boss. He thinks he's the boss. Make sure your men understand that chronological hierarchy. By day, my foreman runs the floor. You report to me in the dark. I'm going out for a couple of days. Have this place ready when I return. Understood? The pouch lands heavy in Rue's palm, and he catches it against his ribs with a wince, still favoring the side you nearly killed him from. Understood. He weighs the coin once, doesn't count it in front of you. That alone says something shifted in him. Dock hands by day, yours by dark. The lads'll manage. Rennick already thinks the sun rises on your say-so. A beat, and then carefully. Whatever's past that tree line, you want company, or is company just something else you'd have to explain wasn't there when it mattered? You don't answer that, and he doesn't push. By the time you shed the last trace of Marl Hayes' merchant airs, Marl Hayes is the merchant disguise that Artemis is wearing in town here. He's making himself look like a merchant who's just in town establishing a deep salt curing facility to buy fish in bulk from captains coming off of the coast here and putting them in big barrels and curing them and selling them over here in Aurgordale. A very normal business model for the area, and I've already got plans to use barrels that have false bottoms to store illicit materials and stolen items from the dwarves, you know, magic items, etc. Whatever kind of little thieves guildish business we get into. I'm just going to be kind of ignoring the major part of the campaign here and just kind of trying to take over this whole little civilized area with the Thieves Guild and just see what happens. So the first day's walk retraces last night's killing ground. The staged corpses still hang where you left them. Those are goblins. I staged it to make it look like some kind of ritual to scare the goblins and the wild elves from coming near this area. Stiffening in their crude ritual poses, crows already working at what the frost hasn't. No patrol has come to cut them down. Sorry about that. Okay, so no patrol has cut down the goblin heads I hung last night. Good, let the rumor breathe a while longer. Past the second ridge, the terrain changes fast. Scrub gives way to broken scree, then to a rock slides raw, wound in the hillside. Exactly where Sorrel said it would be. A split trail switchbacking down into a dry ravine walled in gray stone. You watch its mouth as the light fails on the second evening. It should smell like nothing, dry rock, old dust. Instead, the air coming off the cave mouths, poking the ravine walls, carries a wrongness your skin registers before your mind does. A bite of cold that has no business existing this far south of the true wastes. Rime crusting the stone in pale feathering patterns a good 20 feet past each opening. And the ground, no bones, no blood, no ash, no scorching, nothing that says 9 war bands of goblins died here, only pressed deep into a stretch of frost-hardened mud near the wildest cave mouth. A scatter of prints, bare, broad, 3 times the length of your own boot, toes splayed like something built for weight rather than speed. Whatever cleared this ground didn't fight a battle. It simply took what it wanted and left no mess behind. The ravine sits silent under the last orange light. Cave mouths black and patient, and nothing moves. I like the other track we were listening to the other day. It's a lot better. Okay. So yeah, we're going to just study the tracks, see what we find. You crouch at the edge of the frozen mud and let the last light work for you. Not one creature. At least 4, maybe 5. The prints overlap in places, but heel widths and toe splay differ enough to count individuals. Okay. All barefoot on frost-hardened ground, which alone should cripple a warm-blooded thing. The stride between prints runs 10 feet at a casual walk. Whatever stands in these tracks is 4 times your height's worth of leg and heavy. The impressions punch deep, even where the mud has set like fired clay. The traffic tells its own story. Repeated trips, days of them, worn into a rough path between the cave mouths and a switchback climbing north out of the ravine's far end, and through the middle of it, broad, smooth furrows, the width of a man's shoulders, sometimes 2 side by side, drag marks. All of them lead one direction, into the widest cave. Nothing was dragged out. The freshest prints crossed at the edges, but haven't weathered. A day old. Less, some of them. The frost confirms what the tracks suggest. This is no weather pattern. Rime doesn't feather outward from cave mouths in still air, and it doesn't hold through a mild spring afternoon. It grows the way heat shimmer pools around a forge inverted, the residue of bodies that carry deep cold with them, cold soaked into the stone where they sleep and pass. You've read of such creatures. Giants of the high ice, cold-blooded in the arcane sense. Their very presence rhymes a lair over weeks of habitation. Okay. So it's saying they frost the ground where they walk. Every account agrees they keep to the farthest frozen reaches of the spine. A reclusive village beyond Lake Vorengard that no trader has seen in a generation. Yet here they are, days south of where any story puts them, camped in goblin country, harvesting warbands like a fisherman working a run, and dragging the catch inside. The ring on your finger sits cold and suddenly very deliberate feeling against the skin. Yeah, I've got a ring of protection against cold. Overhead, the orange band of sky has gone the color of a bruise. From somewhere deep in the widest cave, faint, distorted by stone, comes a low sound that might be wind through a fissure. It might be something very large, breathing in its sleep. So, yeah, I am going to go ahead and cast invisibility on myself just in case. I'm going to give it a little reminder. Oh, let's see. Remember to award XP for successful skill checks. Sometimes it just forgets to do that because I think it's embedded into its mechanics here in the to do fighting XP, and it just forgets sometimes. So like when you switch from one campaign to another campaign, or if you start a new campaign, Just remind it every now and then. I will go ahead, cast invisibility on myself and sneak in. Okay, so we're gonna cast invisibility on ourselves. That's a 2nd level sorcerer spell. Where's my spells now? Right here. Invisibility. The world's chill folds over you as the spell takes hold, and you slip through the widest cave mouth on soundless boots, a ghost inside a ghost. The cold hits like wading into a winter sea, then gutters against the ring's quiet warmth, and becomes merely bitter instead of lethal. Hoarfrost sheathes every surface, thick enough that the walls glitter faintly in the last light bleeding in behind you. The breathing belongs to the first thing you see, a giant, sprawled asleep across the entrance passage like a landslide with a pulse. "15 feet of blue-white flesh, a beard stiff with ice, a great axe longer than a rowboat resting under one slack hand. Its exhalations roll over you in slow, freezing waves. You step through the gap between its knee and the wall, a gap the width of a door, and it never stirs. Beyond, the passage opens into a larder. Goblin bodies, dozens, stacked like cordwood against the far wall and frozen solid, frost-furred, with some still wearing the crude war paint of their bands. 9 war bands worth, give or take. Not butchered in rage, provisioned, neat rows, an economy of meat. Deeper still, a blue-green glow flickers off the ice. Some cold phosphorescence rather than fire. And voices carry from a second chamber, 2 of them, vast and rumbling, speaking a tongue of long groaning vowels you don't know. But it's what surrounds the voices that catches your professional eye. Sledges, huge ones, laden and lashed down, bundled hides, carved bone totems, stone cookware, a giant child-sized, fur boot abandoned by the wall. This isn't a war camp. This is everything they own. They didn't come south to raid. They came south because they left home or lost it. And in a natural cleft off the larder chamber, behind a boulder rolled across its mouth like a cork in a bottle, something small is moving. Through the gap you catch eyeshine and shivering. 3, maybe 4 live goblins, pinned, half frozen, huddled together, kept fresh. One of them is staring directly at the empty air where you stand, nostrils working, too terrified to make a sound. One of them smells me, huh? The invisibility has minutes left in it. The sleeping sentry lies between you and the open sky. I wonder what we should do here. We found ourselves a lair of frost giants. I'm not going to talk to those goblins. Any sound could wake up all these giants in here. It's the last thing I want. Even if I am effective character level 13. Because, I mean, what frost giants base at what? Probably 9 or 11. I would think at least 7. Minimum 7. I'm not going to look it up. But maybe as high as 13 even. I don't think that high. Somewhere in there. Well, I mean, like their, you know, effective difficulty class level or whatever for a frost giant. Somewhere between 9 and 11 probably. And I don't want to accidentally give away too much about the campaign secrets, and so I'm not going to investigate further. Alright, go ahead and sneak my way out. Nobody in town. has mentioned anything about frost giants, which means they don't want anything to do with the civilized lands. Artemis could care less if the frost giants replace the goblins and wild elves altogether. He'll keep an eye on them, but for now, he needs to spend the night hunting goblins near the carpenters and loggers so that he can fulfill his promise. Let's knock the GM down to Swift. I agree. That mode is growing on me, actually. I'm starting to like it better than the mythic mode. I don't know what it is about it, but someone else said that, and I tried it out the other day, and I liked it. But anyway, it saves credits, and it seems more direct, more fun to like play long term. He needs to spend the night hunting goblins near the carpenters and loggers so that he can fulfill his promise and get his warehouse updated, upgraded. Okay, a lot of rolls going on here. Withdraw silently past the sleeping sentry. Okay, 37. Spots movement on the tree line. Looking for goblins. 6 goblins, wow. I mean, it's absolutely brutal. Just absolutely brutal killing. I made Artemis to be pretty overpowered here to test out the mechanics without getting slowed down too much, to test out the campaign. That is, you catch them well before they catch you. Sorry, I got distracted by something. You catch them well before they catch you. 6 shapes moving low and fast along the tree line's edge. Not the cocky lope of a raiding party, but the scrambling look back every few steps run of something being chased. No war paint on these, no captured gear, just goblins running for their lives, south, straight toward 9 Cells Fields. You let them come to you. The killing takes seconds. You go through the pack. I think he has 2 attacks per turn. Yeah, I think that's what all that rolling was. Probably 2, maybe even more. C6. Where's the base attack bonus? I don't have that listed here. That's okay. Distracted myself. Oh, 2. 14 slash plus 9. But I'm also dual weapon fighting, so. Offhand, plus 12, so 3 attacks per turn. 3 attacks per round right now. You go through the pack from the flank before they've registered a shape in the dark. Blade opening one throat, then a second, a third. Panic doesn't help them see you any better than confidence did the others. Or fall in the time it takes the 5th to scream. You put a throwing dagger through his spine mid-stride, and he goes down twitching, the poison finishing what the blade started. The 6th, a scrawny, one-eared thing with a crude bone talisman lashed to its chest, probably the band's leader by the trinkets. You'd primed for the kill the moment you marked it. The death attack's focus already spent on watching it move. Your blade finds true, cold intent behind it. It staggers, clutches its chest, and does not die. Whatever passes for luck among goblins, this one has it tonight. It collapses to its knees, gasping instead of falling still, staring up at you with a particular terror of something that watched 5 of its packmates drop dead around it in absolute silence and has no idea what it's looking at. You're going to want to talk to me, you say, crouching, wiping your blade unhurried on its own war cloak. Tell me about the ice giants. The AI is just gonna force me to find out more about the... That's so funny. I'm trying so hard to get away from knowing more about the campaign elements that I've hid into it. But it's making me ask them about it. That's okay. I get why it's doing that. It flinches at the words. Flinches hard. Real hard. It flinches the way a man flinches at a name he's been trying not to think. And starts talking before you've even finished the sentence. Goblin tumbling out of it in a panicked flood. Something about the valley home gone wrong. The pale ones coming down out of the peaks in numbers no one had ever seen. Whole tribes swallowed or scattered in a single night. No fighting it, no bargaining with it. Just running and running in every direction south seems to lead into someone else's teeth. It doesn't know why the giants came. It only knows that everything north of the foothills has become somewhere to flee, not somewhere to live. Night 2, clear, somewhere behind you, unseen in the dark. Dagny's watchers will note the quiet road and the bodies and carry word back before dawn. So, one thing about the campaign I forgot to mention earlier is that the threat of the goblins being pushed south is so severe right now that both Aurgordale and 9 Cells, like leadership, has put out a bounty on goblin ears. And so if you're a mercenary kind of D&D player and you want to hop in and go hunt goblin ears, you can make 3 gold pieces per left ear. They don't take right ears, only left ears. So if you find a goblin who's missing a left ear, I guess that's bad luck, because you can't get paid off of him unless maybe you just bring the whole goblin. But then, you know, anyway, that's why we're about to cut their ears off. Yeah, I'm gonna let it go as a messenger. Let it go as a messenger. Tell it they're better off fighting with the wild elves or the dwarves for space. Don't come near the human settlement. This place is haunted. By the raven. Alright, let's see how it spun that into goblin speech, because I do speak goblin, I think. Where's mine? I had my list of languages way earlier listed out up there, and I don't think I copied them over here. I made sure it was carrying almost everything. I'll add my languages later, it's no big deal. I already know I speak of those. Okay, so go north. Fight the pale ones for the frost. Or fight the sharp-eared ones for the trees. Or crawl into the mountain and beg the stone folk for scraps. I don't care which. But if I see your kind on this road again, if I so much as smell goblin on this tree line, I will do to every one of you what I did to your pack mates tonight. And I will make it slow enough that the ones I let live will wish I hadn't. You let the silence sit a beat, then add the only name it needs to carry. Tell them the ground here belongs to the raven now. Tell them the raven doesn't miss. Okay, whatever, that's not what I said. I told him that it's haunted. This place is haunted. This forest is haunted ground, goblin. It doesn't need convincing. It's already seen 5 of its own drop dead in the space of a breath. Turn this down a little bit. Turn it down quite a bit. Right when I said that, it quieted down. It scrambles backward, then bolts, not south, not toward the fields it had been running for. Wow, okay. But northeast along the ridge line. Toward the deep forest and whatever mercy the wild elves might or might not show it. Goblin's not going to find much mercy around here. Sorry, buddy. I think you found your mercy for the night. You better go find a hole to jump in. You watch it go until the dark swallows it, then start back toward 9 cells with the night's business done. 2 clear nights logged. Whatever Dagny's watchers report at dawn, the road behind you is quiet, and somewhere out there a story is about to start. Spreading through goblin camps in a language none of the town's watch will ever hear. I follow the goblin quietly. Hoping he will lead me to a larger camp of them. I want to go solo raid a goblin village. That's what I want to do. I'm going to find wherever these guys are. What do we do? Find 15? Oh, I wrote a natural 1. Oh, but I still got a success. Because I hit the target? That's funny. I hit the target with a natural 1. I guess that's one of the things about D&D 3.5 that they're trying to fix. You let it think it's alone. It never once looks back the right way. Okay, it doesn't see me. The goblin runs like something already dead and refusing to admit it, crashing through a low brush, doubling back once when a fox startles out of a thicket and sends it into a fresh spasm of terror. You drift behind it 40 feet, silent as smoke, patient as death. It leads you northeast, away from the tree-lined road, up along the shoulder of the ridge where the forest thickens into wild elf territory. Ground even Sorrel's people don't casually walk at night. Nearly an hour in, the trees open onto a shallow gully choked with fern and deadfall, and there you find where the rest of it went. Not a warband, a remnant. 20-some goblins are crammed into that gully, doing nothing that looks like war. No watchfires, no discipline. Just huddled shapes pressed together for warmth. A few standing sentries. It's trying to pull on my heartstrings here. Artemis Ravencraft has no heartstrings to pull on. Sorry, okay, this is role play here. He doesn't care what they're doing over here. 20-some left goblin ears is what he sees. Just huddled shapes pressed together for warmth. A few standing sentry with spears held like the last thing keeping their hands from shaking. If I was playing Alondaraz like I was playing the other day, Alondaraz definitely would not attack this group that are all huddled here. I don't know. Yeah, he probably would. He might subdue the sentries. But anyway, gear is mismatched. Half of it Not goblin make at all. Scavenged, traded, stolen along the way. Okay. These aren't raiders anymore. They're what's left after raiders get chewed through twice. Once by giants and once by you. Your goblin staggers in among them and collapses. And the sound that goes up isn't alarm, it's grief, low and ugly, spreading through the gully as word of the raven passes mouth to mouth in the dark. You're not alone in watching. Off to your left, further up the ridge, you catch the faintest wrongness in the tree-lined shadow. A shape too still to be a shape. The kind of stillness only another hunter produces. Probably an elf, I would guess. One of the wild elves. Whoever it is hasn't seen you, but they're watching the same gully you are, and from the angle. Yeah. You rate your good gold, it's Elven. Yeah, I bet it is Elven. I'm going to stay hidden and watch what the elf does. See if the elf does anything weird. Or maybe the elves are going to plan on attacking these goblins tonight. Who knows? You settle into stillness and let the night do the rest. It takes a while for your eyes to sort the shape. Sorry, I distracted myself again. It takes a while for your eyes to sort the shape out of the shadow, but once they do, the rest follows. 3 more shapes flanking it. Spread wide along the ridge in the loose, unhurried discipline of people who've done this 100 times. 4 elves, not 1. And even without seeing her face at this range, the set of that shoulder, the shaved crown of dark red, of dark hair, bet the D to your warehouse, it's Sorcerer. Sorcerer is an elf I met out here the other day. They don't move. For a long while, neither do you. Down in the gully, the goblins do exactly nothing to make a fight look tempting. No watch worth the name, weapons dropped or forgotten, half of them curled into each other like children. It would take 4 elves the better part of an hour to walk down there and start cutting throats, and they could probably finish before the far side of the camp even woke up screaming. Sorrel doesn't give the order. You watch her weigh it the way you'd weigh a purse before deciding where it's worth the cut. Count the shapes, count her own, measure exhaustion against unknown teeth, and choose to wait. A hand signal passes between her and the four of them, barely a flick of fingers, and they settle back into the brush instead, patient as roots, watching the gully rather than descending into it. Whatever she's decided, it isn't mercy, it's arithmetic, and for tonight, the goblins get to keep breathing a little longer for no better reason than 4 elves preferring better odds before dawn. None of them look your way. You could stay here till the sky pales, or you could be gone long before Sorrel's patrol so much as guesses you were never in the trees at all. Okay, so disguise self. I cast disguise self, making myself appear as a random human you know what? I actually don't care if they see me for who I am out here. Artemis. Sneaks into the goblin camp. And intending to take it out by himself, turning keeping a sack of the years and turning them in over time instead of all at once. I don't want them to get suspicious about how I was able to get like 30 years. So I guess it's rolling to see what happened. I'm fighting like all the goblins in here. I don't know what this 129 is supposed to be. I definitely lost some hit points. You go down into the gully like water finding the lowest point. No splash, no sound, just presence and then absence. A whispered word in a dead tongue, and the nearest cluster simply stops breathing right. I cast sleep on them, I guess. Four of them sagging sideways into each other's laps, unconscious before they finish the thought that something's wrong. You walk among the sleepers first. It isn't combat, it's bookkeeping. A blade across a throat, a step, another throat, methodical as counting coin. 8 go this way before the first one wakes, screaming, then the gully erupts. The remainder scrambles up in a tangle of spears and bad footing, and for a moment it's noise and firelight that isn't there, and shapes lunging at a target half of them can't even properly see. Spear points find you 3 times. A burning line across your ribs, a glancing scrape off your shoulder, one solid punch that would have folded a lesser man, and your vampire's blade drinks each answering cut back into you before the pain has time to properly land. Okay, I healed myself. That's why it doesn't look as bad as it sounded. You move through them like a scythe through wet grass. One after another folds around a short sword and doesn't get back up. I've got +3 vampiric short sword in my primary hand, +1 superior flaming short sword in the offhand. Pretty sick. The last of them, a scarred old warrior with more sense than the rest, breaks and runs the instant he sees what's happening, vanishing into the dark scrub before you can close the distance. You let him go, one survivor, screaming a name into the night that isn't goblin for anything except run, is worth more to the legend than a clean sweep. 21 dead. A gully gone silent and steaming faintly where blood meets cold ground. You crouch and start the rim. You crouch and start the grim, familiar work of the ears, filling a spare sack rather than the usual pouch. No sense marching into Corliss Bray's office with 24 at once and inviting questions about how one merchant found that many goblins. Movement above the gully's rim. You look up, and this time Sorella Ashwake isn't hiding. She drops down the slope without bothering with the trail. 3 warriors behind her, bow slack in her hand but not put away. Her face isn't the contempt from your first meeting. It's something colder and more personal. She says, "This is my forest. You don't get to decide what happens in it without me knowing." She catches herself, and when she speaks again, it's in your own tongue, clipped and furious. "This is my forest. You don't get to decide what happens in it without me knowing." My killing doesn't have to end here tonight. I don't sheathe my blades. But I keep them held down low. I don't care what you think. Attack me if you don't like it. Sorrel's eyes drop to the blades at your sides, then back to your face, and for 3 long seconds nothing in the gully moves except a curl of steam rising off cooling blood. Behind her, one of the warriors, younger, quicker to anger, shifts his weight forward, bow half rising. She doesn't turn. She lifts 2 fingers barely, and he stops like he's hit a wall. I've buried scouts who thought dying well was the same as winning. I don't plan to join them tonight, proving a point to a human who already made his point 21 times over. Her voice doesn't shake. It goes flatter instead, colder. The fury banking itself down into something more dangerous and more patient. You want to kill in my forest without my leave? You'll keep doing it. I can't stop you and we both know it, so I won't waste arrows pretending otherwise. She steps closer anyway, close enough that her warriors visibly tense at it. Close enough you could end her before she finished the sentence. And she does it without hurrying, like proving to herself as much as you that she can. But you went to that ravine. You came back, and now you're carving through remnants like a man who knows something the rest of us don't. So tell me what's actually pushing them south, or don't. But if I find out later you knew and let my people bleed guessing at it, the next time we meet, I won't be counting spears before I decide what to do about you. You're confused. I say. And I throw a poisoned dagger at the one who moved earlier. Nah, I'm not gonna attack him. Let's calm down. Let's everybody just relax. I don't like her attitude. Your attitude is testing my patience. I have yet to harm a hair on an elf's head. ravine is full of frost giants. Go get yourself killed for all I care. Just remember what I said about the humans' side of the forest. It's haunted. You don't come near it. Whatever Sorrel expected to hear, that isn't it. For the first time since you've known her, something other than contempt or calculation moves across her face. A stillness that isn't composure. The kind that comes from a truth landing somewhere it actually hurts. Frost giants. Frost giants? She says it like tasting something spoiled. Not this far south. Not in numbers that swallow whole war bands. That's not a raiding season. She stops herself before finishing the thought aloud. Jaw tight. Eyes gone distant in the way of someone already redrawing a map in her head. Behind her, the three warriors go very quiet. She doesn't thank you. It isn't in her, and you both know it. But the anger in her banks down another degree, replaced by something colder and more useful to her. The look of a commander who's just been handed the one piece of information that reframes every death what people have taken this season. My elders need to hear this before another patrol dies, confirming what you just told me for free. Her gaze cuts back to you, and the old hardness returns to it, though quieter now. Filed down by more pressing math. The tree line is yours tonight. Don't mistake my walking away for agreement about whose ground it is. We'll settle that when giants aren't eating my scouts. She turns without waiting for a response. Already moving, already elsewhere in her mind, her warriors fall in behind. Oh. Tripped. Kind of. My hand slid. Her warriors fall in behind her, melting back up the slope and into the dark without a word. Leaving you alone in the gully with the dead, the sack of ears at your belt, and a long, quiet walk back toward 9 cells still ahead of you. So, I wonder what they're going to do about the frost giants You know what? I'm not sure. But hey, if you want to check out this campaign, if you haven't registered for FreedomRPG yet, check out the link down in the pinned comment. Go to the Discord and go to the shared worlds, and you can play this, the World Spine campaign. And I've got 4 characters in there you can use. If you don't like any of those, just send me a message in there that you want to make a different kind of character. And you can play whatever you want. It's easy to add whatever kind of character you want to the campaign. It's a whole campaign world here embedded into the engine. But yeah, I got to get up and work tomorrow, and we've been at it for about an hour and a half now, so we're gonna